Bonsoir, Madame Junan.
As you know, we bring you the expert. We bring you the best in different fields to talk to you about what's going on in the community. Today, we have none other than Mr. Ali Hippolyte. He's the Financial Education Director for the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce, but he's also a realtor. I'm only going to talk to you about those two hats that he's wearing now, because further, you will find out that he wears many more hats. Good evening, good morning. Mr. Hippolyte, how are you?
Good evening, Mrs. Junan. Is it Mrs. Good
Mrs.
or
Junan.
Mrs. Junan? Oh, Mrs. Junan, okay. How are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you. Tell us a little about your journey to real estate, because I must tell you, and you know, I'm being put on the spot now because besides being a realtor, he's also an author. He wrote a book called Sold. So tell us about your journey in real estate.
Have you heard the say that the bad, the good, and the ugly? That's my journey with real estate. I started real estate in 2004. It's about over 15 years that I've been doing real estate in this community. So I have known when the market was extremely high, extremely hot. I've been there when the market crashed, and here I am again, and we are at the brink of
Another recession.
another recession.
So this is the ugly part.
This is the ugly part. We are heading to the ugly part. We are not there yet, but we have all the factors, all the signs already there. We have seen that property being at extremely high price. In some other market like Canada, people are putting 10 to 15% over the listing price so that they can have a property. Has started already over here in Florida. Not less than a week ago, with a client, we're trying to buy a property, and my client lost that property because she has been outbid for over $30,000 on the property. So that's what happened in 2005, 2006, when the market was extremely high and people start beating over the listed price. So right after that, it is story. We know what happened.
So would you say that now is a good time to do what? To buy or to sell?
Okay, it is my practice, that is my philosophy. It is always a good time to buy real estate.
So you truly believe in ownership?
Yeah, I believe in ownership because real estate is the true wealth. That's why we call it real estate. Because here's what happened. When you buy real estate and the market crash, because the real estate market is the same as the economic market. It goes up and down. But the fact is that real estate, when it goes up, when it goes down, it's not going to be all the way down the way it was before. And when it goes up, it's going to be higher. As an example, property that people were buying at an extremely high price, let's say like $200,000, okay? It was a high price then. Now, the same property are being sold for $400,000 is at high price now. So later on, let's say 10 years later, this property might be at a $600,000. It will be that high price when it comes. So
it's something that you have to follow, and I'm assuming that if it goes high, it doesn't just stay high forever, and when it goes down, it doesn't go down forever.
It will go down forever. It will always follow the market trend.
Okay.
It will always follow the market trend, and with everything else that is part of the economic system of the finance system.
Right now with COVID, would you say when people are trying to get a house, they need to try to find the real value of the house so they know if it goes down further or if it goes back up that they would have enough equity in the house?
Okay, here's the thing, most of property are being sold now with equities, okay? That depends on what position are you, okay? So people who bought the property, I would say in 2010, they do not have much equity on them. But if you are buying any type of property now, you are buying it at a very high price. But depending on what type of property that you are buying, either it's a resale property or brand new property, depending on when you're buying it, you always are in equity positions.
Okay.
But the fact is that it's not to go too high.
And now we were talking about the value of the house, but to the folks who are listening to us, we know that having a good interest rate is very important, and that you could tell that I don't know much about real estate, but I know about the fact that if you have good credit, you will definitely have a good interest. Yes. So when it comes to the interest, how does that? How should we take it in consideration? What is the best factor when you're buying a house to look at your interest rate?
A good interest rate in the long run is the best for you. As an example, now the interest rate is extremely low. It is an extremely good time for people to buy property so that they can take advantage from the low interest rate.
You mean now, during
Now,
the COVID time?
exactly, because the interest rate is so low now. In the long run, it's going to give you it's going to give you more advantage from buying now. But at the same time, people sometimes saying that what is the best for them, buying low or buying with a low interest rate?
That was going to be my next question.
Oh, that's going to be your next question.
My next question
Let me
would
let
have
you
been,
go with that.
should we get a lower mortgage value or price for your mortgage, or go after a lowest interest? And we're not going to start about credit union. I think that's going to be our next interview.
Okay, that's why I always tell people try to combine the two together, because there's advantage between the two. Let me give you an example. You can buy a property at $300,000 and I buy it for the same price. At $300,000, my payment is way lower than yours because I do have a low interest rate. When I do have a low interest rate, that means in the long run I'm paying way less. And you who buy a $3,000 of interest rate higher than mine, you're paying more, and you're paying more on that property in the long run as well. So it might happen you buy a property at $250,000 and buy mine with $300,000, and I'm still at a better place than you because my interest rate is lower. I have that case study for you. Both of my clients, one buy a property at $320,000. Okay, the other one buy a property at $250,000. They have the same payment. Why they have the same payment? Because the one who buy her property at $320,000 has a better interest rate.
So the best thing, as you said, and you need to tell the audience that the best thing is to try to combine both. If you have a good price and a good interest rate, so in the long run you'll see the benefits.
Exactly. I'm not going to try to have a realtor like me that can guarantee you have the best price for your property, and in the meantime take advantage from that low interest rate.
But you mentioned both your clients having different rates for a house at the same price. So now let's go in the heart of the matter. What about the deposit or the down payment? What's the difference, and how does that affect your long-term equity or your long-term payments?
Okay, that's a good question. Many people confuse with those two topics, down payment and deposit. Okay, your deposit can be your down payment, but your down payment is not per se your deposit. Okay, what is a deposit? Deposit is a good faith that you put in advance to say, okay, I'm in business, I'm buying that property, here's my deposit, and that deposit will go into an escrow account until it's closed. It will go toward your down payment. The down payment is your skin on the game, meaning that if you're buying the property, you have like say an FHA loan, with the minimum required can be a 3%. That 3% is your down payment. Why I say your deposit might be your down payment, that depends on how much property that you are buying. Okay. If you are buying a property for $100,000, let's say, and your down payment on an FHA loan is a 3%, and you put that $3,000 a deposit, your deposit become your down payment.
Okay.
You got it?
Okay. Because I often hear people say that they had put a deposit, but they need more money for the down payment.
Exactly, because
just like you said, the deposit is just the faith.
it's a good faith.
It's a good faith. That's mean that you're interested.
Exactly.
And when you put the down payment, that's mean that you really interested and you want to move forward.
Exactly.
So that's how we have to look at it.
Exactly. The way I say I see it, and I sometimes ask people to do a little bit more, because when you are in a very competitive market like that one, it is good that if your main business, you like that property, you are certain that you're going to close on it, okay? To put a little more skin in the game. Like instead of putting like $500 or $1,000, try to put $2,000 or $3,000.
Is it because at that time the seller would think that you're more serious and maybe you're not going to be outbid by somebody else?
Exactly. I'm seeing that all the time. People will go and put $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on the property as their deposit, and they end up having a contract, being under contract, even though their offer might be lower than the other guy.
See, now you just heard it right here.
It is just
this is a good
being
trick.
technical.
This is a good nugget.
Yeah.
So when people are putting more money towards the purchase of the house, because once you do the good faith, the person who's selling it will be like, well, this person is serious, and I think maybe that the bank will be able to finance that person because that person is ready to move forward with its transaction. And I think that would play a big role.
That play a lot. That's play a lot. And another thing, people who are buying cash, that's the best thing, because when they are buying cash, they can afford to put more. So that's another subject. So.
They say cash is king, so be aware of
Always.
the investors. So if you're not showing that you're serious about something, then the investor will just come and
Always. You know what? There's a good thing for home buyers now. Because property prices are so high, the investor kind of set back now.
Okay.
You know? So there is not much cash fight now.
Flow, yes, going towards that. Now, the last question before we go into other things that are part of what we want to do for the community, when it comes to the closing cost, what can you tell us about closing costs? I mean, I'm enjoying this show because I'm definitely learning. As you could tell, real estate is really not my forte. So tell us about the closing costs. When you have to go for the closing costs, because people are always asking, can I get more money for here? Can I get money from another company? How does that work?
All right. Closing cost, it's the price you pay for the transaction. Okay. Remember, you buying the property and you buying money too. Okay. You give the bank a mortgage. The bank gives you a note, and with that note come the amount that you need to buy that property. Now, with that come many costs: taxes, insurances, abstract search of title. You have your appraisal, inspections. All that put together is your closing cost. Include the difference between your down payment and your deposit.
Okay, so now I see the relationship.
Okay.
Because if your deposit was small, although it's going towards your down payment, but then you still need to come up with the real down payment
to close. But that doesn't mean that the part of your down payment is not really the closing part of the closing cost, but that the amount of money that will go toward your closing cost. Sometimes they will cash to close. They call it sometimes cash to close, meaning that the difference between your deposit plus your closing cost, that's the cash that you need to come at closing so that you can close.
Okay. So today you are learning many, you're getting a lot of nuggets from Mr. Hippolyte, Mr. Hippolyte, regarding real estate and whether or not it's a good time to purchase. What is the difference between having a deposit and a down payment? The recommendation is the more you can give, the better it is. Eventually, we will have a show where we'll be talking about credit and how important
Sure,
it is for
definitely.
us to have good credit in order for us to reap the benefits. But earlier, Harry said that it's the real values. That's why they call it real estate. So this is really the wealth. It's the real wealth. How do you feel that this community in Broward County is doing as far as equity, uh, acquisition, I should say, of properties? Are we still in that mode of, you know what, I own a real estate property, like you do it with pride?
Okay, it's all about education. You know, some people most of the time I met people, and sometimes it is like a business choice too. I met with people who really want to be in a position in this community, but after many years, those people have been living in this community, have been working in this community, and when you ask them, okay, what you have to show for it, and they still renting,
Yeah.
you know, there's a difference between when you're renting and when you own the property.
Okay.
Okay, when you own a property, meaning that you are part of the community, you part of the county,
Sure.
wherever you might live. Okay, wherever you might live, wherever that property might be located,
Mhm.
it is your
Sure.
pride. Okay, it is what you have. That's what you have to show for that many years that you've been working.
Mhm.
Okay, so with that property, like I said, it's a real wealth.
Well,
You can go ahead and sell that property,
Mhm.
get that equity. You want to go back to your whatever you want to do next,
Mhm.
move somewhere else, you have that money. But if you have been renting, you cannot cash
So-
on your rent.
So it's
Payment.
like having a good asset for you to leverage if you decide to do something bigger. Because you see, when it comes to the business, I'm more interested here to understand more of what the real estate value will mean to you. So
Exactly.
you have a home. So let's say you want to grow a business or you have a good idea. You could just put it up and say, well, I have my house, so you need to take a chance with me. Or if I want to buy another house, also you could use it as
Exactly.
as leverage.
Like you said, we will have to talk about credit during our next
Yes.
interview. Having a property and you are paying your mortgage, build your credit too. Okay, it's build your credit, and if you've been paying your property for some time, the equity that you have will tell any type of investor or bank that okay, this person has that type of asset that we can tap in. But I'm not going to tell you to go and tap in your equity, the equity of your property, to do any type of business because it's also dangerous.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you will realize that you have more to learn, and we will definitely bring back Mr. Harry to talk to you not only about credit, about the relationship with real estate, and so many opportunities that we offer in this community. Mr. Hippolyte is the Financial Education Director of the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce. You definitely need to stay tuned, follow him, because he promised me that he's bringing out a book.
Yeah.
His last book was sold, and then now it's going to be sold during COVID. We're not going to talk about the other book. But we need to tell you that we have a great real estate team at the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce, and we want to make sure that you are part of what we're doing in order for us to advance in this community.
Definitely.
Talk about the book, Mr. Hippolyte.
Oh, all right. The idea of the book came when I was trying to get people involved
Mhm.
about switching the equity that they have in their property and to move up. Because what happened? Many people during the
Crash.
buyers market following the crash, it was more difficult for people to sell their house.
Okay.
Okay, so the book is a compilation of what you can do to win more value in the property while you spend extremely less to make it up. As an example, it's all about the marketing. It's all about how you prepare your house. It's all about staging. It's all. We take as an example. You take a Lexus LS and a Toyota Camry. Same company,
Some company. Mhm.
same motor, same car.
That's how they package
But
it to sell it.
Lexus is packaged so nicely, okay? The marketing is so nice. The showroom that you went to the Lexus dealer is so nice. You are willing to pay $10,000-$15,000 more than a Camry.
Wow, you heard.
So the same thing, you can have the same property in the same neighborhood, okay? And these property are being sold for $10,000-$30,000 more because this property has a better look
Okay, perfect.
than the other one.
Perfect.
So that's what you will find in that book.
Where can they find the old book? They can find it on Amazon.
They have to call me.
They have to call.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Harry, please give us your phone number, your email address, and where they can find you.
My email address is extremely easy. It's my last name, Hippolyte, and my first initial, Ash, at yahoo.com.
Perfect.
And my phone number is 954-825-3682. 954-825-3682.
Mr. Hippolyte, it was a pleasure speaking with you for a few minutes, and we hope to have you for more information about what you are planning with the chamber and also for the community.
Definitely, Dylan, the pleasure was mine. Always happy to talk to you, always happy to talk to your
My audience,
people.
yes. Thank you.
Bye.